and that's what I'm positioned as that. And 6ix9ine told me that, and he said, yo, the reason why he's saying this is because he's avoiding the fact that he fucked Sarah, blah, blah, blah. Because I'm going to be honest, I was losing a little bit. I'm like, maybe 6ix9ine capping about the Sarah thing? Because Shotty told me some shit. 6ix9ine told me the exact same shit. And the only reason I'm going to be honest why I believe 6ix9ine, he exposed himself. He said certain shit about himself that, you know, I'm hoping doesn't, you know, isn't some full shit that comes out even in the media now. You feel me? Like, and I'm like, damn. The mere fact that you could admit that, like, truth be told, if I wasn't having personal conversations with these niggas, just that alone, what he told me, I'm like, nigga could expose you off that shit. And this is no Stitcher shit. This is some other shit, right? I'm like, wow. But he admitted, he said, yo, yeah. If Shotty said that, that is true. I'm gonna be honest. But he still fuck my baby mama. Anyway, long story short, Shotty called today. Shotty said, yo, blah, blah. So I tell him, I'm like, yo, Shotty, I'm not a part of no narrative because I got 6ix9ine and Whack in a room. I'm not trying to get no narrative going on. By the way, me and you talk many times on the phone. You can also speak. So I'll give you out a short version. Shotty is going to talk to me this week on audio. He's in the jail, actually in prison. And he says, I don't got too long on the jail phone. Well, come with the questions you want. Anything. And I'm going to answer them. I'm going to ask my chat. And by the way, if you watch this anywhere else, if you're not in my chat room, or if you're not a chat nigga, I really don't care what you think. I never really care. I'm gonna ask my chat niggas, what do you think I should ask Shotty? He's gonna come out this week. I'm gonna put out a video of me asking Shotty that. Whatever questions. I'll tell you this. Shotty looked at me and said, yo, Act, that interview, that podcast you did on Spotify, man, that shit bullshit. I said, why? He said, Act, fuck what that nigga Whack 100 talking about. That nigga 6ix9ine was no civilian. That nigga, and he's like, yo, listen. He's like, until I seen that nigga name on paperwork, I really didn't think that nigga wasn't gonna hold it down. Basically, he's saying that I never thought that nigga was gonna snitch. That's what Shotty told me. He's like, yo, he told me a lot. I'm trying to remember some of the shit. He's like, yo, all that civilian shit, that is out the window. This nigga knew how we were getting it down. I'm also tell you this verbatim what he said. He said, Act. He said, Act, I don't blame that boy. He told my 6ix9ine. He said, I don't blame that boy for me sitting in the cell. He said, nigga, I moved around as a gangster. He said, I was moving around that at any time if a nigga played with me, I would have laid a nigga out. Flat out. And I would have done 20 years. He said, every nigga, he said, if you look at that indictment, every nigga that's with me, they were down to do a 20. Which means we were down to take 20 years if a nigga play with us, and we gotta lay him down straight up. So don't think we in here like just like, oh, this nigga told him. No, nobody even thinking about, that's what he told me. He said, nobody is in here thinking that 6ix9ine is the reason why we're here. It's like, no. We all knew we signed up for some shit. And if we got caught up on some shit, or if we got in a situation where we had to lay a nigga down, and we're gonna get caught up by the legal system, we gonna take them 20 years. He said, he said, I came in this shit with 20 years. I'm gonna be that's what he exactly told me. So he's saying, I don't give a fuck. He's like, yo, I just don't like the narrative being shifted that we were taking advantage of this nigga. This nigga came in and he was one of us. And what did I say to him? It's not even too long. I said, yo, Shotty, because Shotty was like, yo, because he was lumping me with I said, Shotty, you know I ain't know a lot of this shit. I said, Shotty, I'm still finding out some shit that y'all was doing now. And I said, yo, Shotty, you know some niggas is not a part of that. Like, I wouldn't know this and third. And he said, yo, and so I looked at him, I said, yo, part of what Wack is saying is that y'all niggas knew that nigga wasn't about that shit. That's what Wack is saying. And Shotty said to me, he said, yo, he said, Act, we knew from he's like, yo, you could never know what a nigga is really about until you're around him. And he's like, we were around that nigga, and that nigga made it seem like he was about that shit. That nigga was a gangster, straight up. Essentially what he's saying is that we didn't co-sign or say this nigga's a blood knowing he about to snitch on us or telling us. We co-signed this nigga as a blood who is in the same shit, who is co-signed some of the same shit, who's encouraging crimes that we into. And yeah, I don't want to speak too much for Shotty, but I told Shotty, I said, yo, let me reposition myself again. I'm a platform. I've talked to you multiple times. And by the way, he said this about us because I was shocked. At the interview, 6ix9ine passed me his phone, and it was Treyway, Shotty's account, that messaged him. But it was Shotty's son. Now, 6ix9ine eventually said that Shotty's son was asking for help. He told me, he said, yo, Ack, you know why my son been messaging 6ix9ine? Because he want to fucking fade. He want to beat that nigga's ass. He's like, yo, that nigga said he's taking fades. Well, my son, who's of age, want to fight him. That's what Shotty told me. I'm going to be very honest. You know me, I'm going to keep it 100 always. And 6ix9ine my nigga, but, bro, like, when it comes to this, bro, this is one of those things that, nigga, I'm not no street nigga. I can't just ride with 6ix9ine or ride with whatever because of whatever. I'm like, yo, I told Shotty, I said, listen, that's why, you know, you've talked to me. You can use the platform. You can say whatever you got to say. 6ix9ine said what he had to say. I would be a certain type of nigga if I say, well, 6ix9ine can say whatever you want to say because it's against you. But if you want to say some shit, you can't say it. So he said, ask me any question. So I'm going to give y'all niggas 15 minutes. Ask me any question. And it's going to be later this week. I'm going to answer it. But he's like, I'm going to just tell you right now, I'm not going for Wack. He was upset at Wack. He said, I ain't going for Wack. Trying to label this nigga as a civilian when this nigga was literally on some gang shit with us. That's what Shotty said. Facts. Keep it on it. And I really didn't know. He said, yo, he said, my son is of age. He said, my son did not message 6ix9ine for help. He messaged because I ain't gonna lie, 6ix9ine passed me his phone while we were in the interview, like on off the record podcast. And I looked at it and I said, oh shit, that's Shotty messaging me. I looked at it and the only message I saw, the person said, you in Miami? I ain't know what that means. It could be, yo, you in Miami, you can give me some money. You in Miami, I'm stranded. Shotty told me on the phone, he said, yo, my son was trying to meet up with that nigga to scrap. Straight up. I said, damn, okay. I don't know, bro. I don't know. And by the way, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't even tell 6ix9ine this part that I talked to, because right after I got off the phone with him, I kind of got on straight. And by the way, that's another thing y'all gotta know. Like, 6ix9ine can't stop me from motherfucking talking to Shotty and putting his side out there. Like, it's not gonna happen. You get me? Like, again, I still believe whatever they had going on, even if 6ix9ine comes out looking flawed as hell, or he comes out looking just like a victim, I'm not gonna look at Shotty and be like, man, fuck that nigga Shotty. Or I ain't gonna look at 6ix9ine and be like, fuck that nigga 6ix9ine. Bro, there wasn't, I'm gonna be honest with you, my thought on all this gang shit is straight manipulation. They was on some shit trying to manipulate each other, trying to take advantage of each other, and truth be told, shit went left because the police got involved. That's how I feel. That's why, I always tell y'all, if y'all listen to my early videos, don't do crimes with nobody. You don't got to worry about a stench if you ain't do no crime with nobody. So, chat, I'm going to give y'all the opportunity, but only my chat niggas. I want y'all to DM me, spamming in here, what questions you want me to ask for Shotty. And matter of fact, maybe lightly too, because I don't want them to dictate shit. But I might even say to WAP, like, yo, I'm going to talk to Shotty this week, and I'm going to come out with 15 minutes of conversation with him explaining whatever. You feel me? Is there a question y'all gotta ask? But other than that, it's gonna be the fans. Because I also told Shotty, I said, bro, the reason why you think there's a narrative is you're not talking. Everybody's talking but you. Mel Matrix, when niggas said that Jim Jones was blah blah blah, Murder Mel called up Jim Jones. He called him bloody, blah blah. You agreeing with him? He cussing out Whack. That's co-signing Jim. You got Whack 100 calling Shotty just a little nigga, like a nigga who was flawed. Hey, I'm not gang, so I don't know what all that's about. But Shotty does know it's because he hasn't talked. That's why this is happening, right? I see people ask Shotty how he met 6ix9ine and why they let him in the game. Yo, I'm trying to do this tomorrow, chat. So I don't want nobody to be like, oh, I seen this laid. Bruh, I'm gonna talk to Shotty. He ain't talked in a minute. I ask him anything. If y'all have questions and follow questions, write it all out to me. DM me, message me, email me, whatever you gotta do. But I'm just not somebody who's gonna, not because I'm cool with 6ix9ine, I'm like, oh, we don't need to hear Shotty's side. Shit, nigga, y'all could ask 6ix9ine himself, nigga. I don't know if he can sense it, but I was just like, yo, I ain't gonna lie, I talked to Shotty, bro, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, yo, ask me whatever you want to ask me. Like, don't, just ask me. And I said, nigga, and I won't mention the whole conversation, but that's where that conversation came from. But Shotty told me a lot about that situation that I didn't know that went on. So I thought 6ix9ine was like, yo, was gonna be like, yo, well, I really don't know, so I'm gonna just kind of finesse him and like fool him into it. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I was mad shocked. The first thing he said, yo, he said, I know what Shotty told you. He said, the thing you're not trying to tell me, I know what Shotty told you. He told you blah 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 blah. And I ain't gonna lie, that was exactly what Shotty told me. I was like, the fuck? He said, yeah, that nigga's gonna tell you that. Hey, listen, these are, it's almost, that's all, when I did that whole thing with Shotty and like even Whack, I'm like, yo, the streets is mental manipulation. And if they could get you up here, it's easy to get you to do something. They get your mind, it's easy to get your program to do some shit. It's easy to get you to act on some shit. Feel me? What's it called? Nah, this is a lot. I could go see, he's a fraud because he be talking about that creator shit, and like niggas be looking at him like, hey, man, that's the last thing we want to hear from you. Like, you just capping. So that fucked him up a little bit. know, his podcast is still entertaining. I'm gonna keep it like funny. Like one of them dudes on there, like they good too. But niggas don't want to hear nothing from that. Overtime will change. Alright, chat, give me one more subject real quick, and then I'm gonna get it, but I'm gonna be back on tomorrow, so whatever. Yo, if y'all haven't done so, oh shit. Yo, how many subscribers did we get in this stream? All the subscribers. Fuck. Yo, fucking. African Mustard Glitches, Shot by Weez, Dexter, thank you for the sub. You're Korean enough.
When Rotomy's chart-topping Walk With Me dropped.
This video is sponsored by Keeps.
If you're watching this 50, please don't strike this video down like you did the last one I did about you beefing Rick Ross. I don't know if it's you or somebody in your team, but if you've seen this video and you're thinking of doing that, please watch the whole thing first, as this one is probably going to make you look a lot better than the last one. I'm not going to be using any copyrighted material like your music or your films, and this video is mainly going to be concerned with publicly available social media posts which I will be analysing under fair use. Even with all of that in mind, 50, if you end up watching this and you still feel some type of way, please accept this apology in advance. I'm sorry, Fofty.
Them near and 50 all around you. The broadcast marks are on the run. He keeps harassing them on Twitter. They better pay no ifs or buts. 40 cents, he wants your cash. He'll hunt you down because he's Fofty, the bounty hunter.
In 2018, former singer, former actress, and current sentient mannequin on Love and Hip Hop Hollywood, Tierra Marie was caught with egg on her face. By which I mean man egg, by which I mean jizz. She had jizz on her face. With all of this coming after an ex-lover of hers supposedly hacked her phone and leaked explicit shots onto her own Instagram. And so after this scandal hit, Marie came out looking for sticky, white-hot justice, claiming that her ex-boyfriend, Akbar Abdul Ahab, had leaked that photograph onto her Instagram in a revenge porn attack, with Marie releasing a statement reminding everybody that revenge porn is indeed a crime. Now, this led her to whine out and smash up his car. Whoa, baby, calm down. What do you think this is, a blue-face video shoot? Thing is, on the flip side, let's not forget that she is a reality TV star, and some have suggested that it might have been her that leaked the nudes herself just to get attention for a plotline on the show. And even her co-star, Milan Christopher, claimed that Marie knew about the sex tape before it had leaked. But anyway, this isn't about the tape, this is about Biddy. And it turned out that 50 Cent was actually friends with Marie's disgruntled ex, the guy that was in the tape who Marie was claiming to have leaked it. And I guess as some sort of sticky show of solidarity, 50 reposted that picture of Tierra Marie with her face covered in testicular icing, along with the caption, "Get the strap." Now that is funny. And although I obviously can't show you this picture, here's 50 Cent's next post, moments after having had that photo duly taken down by Instagram, suggesting that he was going to leave the platform. Yeah, if Zuckerberg isn't going to let me post pictures of famous women with jizz all over their face on here, I am God! Anywho, in response to seeing 50 Cent reposting these lewd photos of her on his Instagram, Marie then announced that she was planning on taking legal action against those that were seeking to publicly humiliate her, releasing a statement through her attorney Lisa Bloom and announcing that they would be holding a press conference together to discuss the legal action being taken against 50 Cent and Abdul Ahad. An announcement to which 50 replied with finesse, posting a picture of Marie's attorney's own mother and the caption, "Lisa, stop, don't make me tell your mom." This man is a corporate savage, people. Now eventually an emotional press conference did take place, where to be honest, Tierra Marie almost seemed like she was holding back laughter, trying to think of an SSW way of describing 50 Cent's picture that he posted of her with a face full of jizz.
Right after that, he posted a sex tape and a scene photo of me.
And if that wasn't even hilarious enough for you, apparently in court, Marie even tried to claim that 50 Cent had purposefully used a black and white filter when he posted that picture on Instagram to increase the contrast between her face and the jizz. A hilarious tidbit, but let's remember that the focus of this case was all about sliding the blame over to 50 Cent for reposting these already leaked lewd images of Tierra Marie.
His good friend, 50 Cent, posted the obscene photo of me on his Instagram and said, "Get the strap."
Now, you can understand from a finesse's viewpoint why Marie was pursuing this legal action. She was most likely trying to get one of those same checks that Rick Ross's baby mama got back when 50 Cent leaked her sex tape during the Rick Ross beef. Hell, I mean, Marie's lawyer even said that's why they were suing him on Twitter. However, 50 was not scared by Marie's legal threats, and he continued to troll her publicly. And unfortunately for Marie and her lawyers, it would turn out that the facts in this case were very different from the previous one that 50 lost. And before things were even resolved at the trial, Tierra Marie's legal team dropped her, something which 50, of course, was eager to make fun of on IG. And obviously, with the lack of solid representation in the courtroom, this left Tierra Marie positioned to take a spectacular L in front of the judge, with the blast reporting that the judge had dismissed all claims against 50 because apparently 50's defense that the video was already widely available on the internet when he posted that picture, and the defense that the picture didn't actually show Marie's genitals or her performing any particular sexual act, seemed to satiate the judge. So not only did Marie lose her case, but she was also forced to pick up 50 Cent's legal tab to the tune of $30,000, which in some ways is even a small W for her, seeing as 50 had apparently spent over $161,000 already trying to defend himself against her frivolous claim. And from here, things went from bad to worse for Marie, going from a lowercase L to an uppercase L to one of those gargantuan L's off of the Hollywood sign. Because as we now know, the only thing worse than beefing with 50 Cent is owing him money. Now, after a bit of time passed, Marie ended up going onto the Breakfast Club to complain about 50 being on her ass and explain her side of the story. An appearance that I would probably say wasn't very helpful at all as far as her putting her side of the argument out there, because it essentially didn't teach us anything new, except maybe the fact that Charlemagne likes to exploit vulnerable women for entertainment on his show. But we knew that anyway, and so following this appearance, 50 Cent remained on her ass, reposting the clip of her talking on the Breakfast Club and saying he wants his money.
Lack of empathy?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that,
it developed from so much fuck shit.
So why don't you teach him that?
Oh, no, he's not there yet.
I just want my money, bitch.
What else am I supposed to do? Run? Lie down? Let him roll me over with a match?
Fight back about what? About money in court,
It does. It does.
Because your fucking sex
I
tape
don't say
came out.
anything
How the
unless
fuck
he
did
says
I get in that? I'm not
You know what I'm saying? So it's like...
And of course, he continued to berate her on Twitter. As time went by, Tierra Marie remained firm that 50 Cent wasn't getting a cent out of her, clapping back at him on Instagram, posting a picture of him dressed as a police officer from an old movie to mock him for being a snitch, along with a caption that suggested that he liked fingers in his booty. Hey, I hear that when girls slide an extra digit inside of him, he becomes 51 Cent, eh? And of course, continuing to mock him for being a snitch by posting a picture of him with his then surrogate son, Snitch 9. She also mocked him for his bankruptcy proceedings, but essentially this trolling would make absolutely no difference to 50 Cent, who was still hungry for his bounty, with 50 even being granted an order for Marie to show up in court, to open up her books, show her assets, and allow 50 to work out how exactly he was going to get that cash. And although Marie kept dodging him, 50 even went as far to have her serve papers on camera at an airport in March.
Miss Thomas?
Yes.
I'll give these papers.
No, thanks.
You served. You served. Public property. You served.
But unfortunately, while 50 was playing chess, Marie just continued playing clown checkers, making more misguided moves that would only dig a deeper hole for her to dive come face first into. In April, she came out with a diss song aimed towards 50 called I Ain't Got It, which honestly wasn't that bad. The track obviously included some pointed lyrics that referenced the death, and to promote the song, Tierra Marie even stooped so low as to post publicly on social media asking 50 Cent to drop a verse on it, and continuing to mock 50 on social media, suggesting that he was Floyd Mayweather's belt boy. To this, 50 was primed and ready to drop savage replies. First off, replying, suggesting that the courts will get the message from her social media antics, posting a picture labelling her as a cum dumpster. Classy. But it was at this point that 50 Cent's business brain kicked into gear, because he realised that in spite of the fact that Tierra Marie was selling I Ain't Got It merch, she had unfortunately failed to trademark the phrase I Ain't Got It. A near fatal lapse in judgment which 50 was primed to capitalise on, finessing this oversight into a giant W by immediately trademarking this phrase and preventing Tierra Marie from making any money from it. Quickly launching his own I Ain't Got It merch collection and coming out to say that if she doesn't take hers down, he's suing again. And I've got to say, the savagery of this move still hasn't expired, because to this very day, IAin'tGotIt.com still redirects to the G-Unit merch store, which leads me to the natural conclusion that the G in G-Unit must stand for genius. Now, 50 continued to clown her on IG, saying that he is the law, and Marie continued to troll by paying 50 cents at the end of April. And for the record, that 50-cent Western Union transaction cost her $5 in fees to even send.
I want to send a Western Union. 50 cents. Okay, 50 cents for $5. I'm sending this property check. 50 cents. And here is the info.
50 naturally clapped back, saying that this was blatant disrespect to the courts, also helpfully adding that he didn't recognise her without the spunk on her face. Savage. And ultimately, by July, no significant collections on this bounty had been made, only causing 50 Cent's rage to rise further. For a while, there was a rumour that 50 Cent was pulling strings behind the scenes to try and get Marie thrown off of Love and Hip Hop. And then clickety-clank, the courts awarded 50 Cent another $4,000 to put in his piggy bank due to Marie still refusing to pay up. This move, based on 50 Cent's ongoing harassment, was duly failed. Probably didn't help her case, claiming that she was being harassed by 50 when she was out there dropping diss songs and videos of her trolling him on Western Union. Now, during these financial hearings towards the end of that case, Tierra Marie claimed to be broke. And I'm no big city lawyer, but I believe the legal term is big old broke. She continued to claim that she's not financially stable enough to pay 50, which 50 says is complete BS. And by January 2020, 50 Cent had still gone unpaid, with him beginning to make moves to try and reclaim his money straight out of her Love and Hip Hop checks, outing her for earning $5,000 per show and saying that he was going to get that cash directly from Viacom. Then in April 2020, announcing a tax lien against her to try and collect, going as far as to say that she was actively trying to conceal her assets to prevent 50 collecting his money. Well, isn't that the pot calling the kettle broke? And well, as of April 2020, apparently Tierra Marie is even on the run for a $5,000 bench warrant stemming from avoiding paying up on these debts, which I guess means the real bounty hunters are going to be on her ass. But unfortunately, despite his very best efforts, this bounty goes unclaimed.
And now, a word from our sponsor. I love Chris Rich.
I'm not ready to lose my hair, so I'm gonna use Keeps just to keep it there. Don't wait, get it done while there's time to spare. Preserve your hairline now, fam, don't despair. Did you know that 2 in 3 guys experience some form of hair loss by 35? When I heard that fact, I nearly cried. Then I heard about Keeps, and now it's the vibes. Look, use it at home, no trips to the clinic. Deliver to your door, so the service is terrific. Prevention is key, so don't delay a minute. And 100,000 other men trust Keeps with it. Keeps, I'm not ready to lose my hair, so I'm gonna use Keeps just to keep it there. Don't wait, get it done while there's time to spare. Preserve your hairline now, fam, don't despair. If you're noticing that you're losing your hair, do something about it. For a limited time only, go to keeps.com/TLR or click the link in the description to get 50% off your first order.
Alright, who even is Randall M? Well, here's a film producer probably best known for putting together the mega flop Gotti with John Travolta. He's also been a producer on 50 Cent's Power, as well as his upcoming BMF project. Emmett is also engaged to Lala Kent, an actress and regular on the reality show / budget knockoff of The Real Housewives, Vanderpump Rules.
So how do you like the game so far?
Insufferable.
So you're not friends with her because she's kind and sweet? 1000%. You just need Beyonce. I just need Beyonce's around me all the time.
Now, long after this whole beef went down, 50 Cent actually explained where this complex mega debt came from.
We were actually partnering in Cheetah Vision films.
Okay.
We made profits on the film, but he was positioning himself publicly as my partner.
Yes.
But he was receiving a salary. Okay. So out of the profits that we actually made for the company, it was about $1.3 million that he had owed, and he paid. A portion of it was paid out of his portion of his production credit for Power, like it's directed straight to me. But he didn't actually give me anything And I was approaching BMF. He was a partner on the BMF series also. And I'm like, if you don't give me something, I'm going to pay myself back before you get a chance to pay me. So send me something.
So we know that Randall had some money outstanding on 50's books, but the way this info came out publicly was pretty explosive. One night, 50 Cent spotted a clip of Randall's other half, Lala, on Vanderpump Rules. She was bragging about all of the fancy shit that Randall buys her, specifically saying at one point that he bought her a Range Rover the day after they first had sex. Now this obviously rubbed 50 up the wrong way, seeing as that's his money she's siphoning out of Randall's dingus in Range Rover bull. And so he reposted it on Instagram along with a very mocking caption, essentially saying that Randall is big simpin' spending cheeks. This provoked a very salty response from Lava, saying that when they were out for dinner together, 50 was begging Randall to put one of his talentless bitches in one of his films. Not very friendly, Lava. 50 clapped back to this, saying that he don't beg for nothing, and replied to other comments below, calling Randall a sucker. And yes, we'll be seeing how much of a sucker he is shortly. Now, after running her mouth and catching some salty replies from Fiddy, Lala clearly couldn't handle the heat in the kitchen, and so came out to backtrack on her comments, reaching for any excuse she could find to try and win this argument. In this case, masterfully spinning sucking off a film producer for a Range Rover as some kind of giant empowering act for the Me Too movement.
My fiance has been there for 50 in really dark times, but the other thing was that 50 took a clip of me talking about what I do behind closed
to profit off of their knuckle shuffles that they were only going to give out to less powerful and less ugly men for free. And so after getting aired out by this airhead on social media and getting increasingly frustrated with not getting his money, a day later 50 Cent publicly calls out Randall Emmett for owing him $1 million. But this wasn't just any public shaming, no. 50 Cent took the disrespect to another level, sharing private DMs between him and Randall, where Randall desperately grovels with 50, pathetically apologizing and going as far to say that all of the stress from 50's bounty hunting was giving him a literal heart attack. And it was also in this exchange that Randall uttered the now iconic typo, which would be immortalized forever on from this moment as 50 Cent's bounty hunter nickname. I'm sorry, Fofty. Fofty. Fofty! He even printed them on t-shirts and stuff. He ended up making $300,000 selling them Fofty shirts. And well, in those messages we can see that Fofty immediately replied with threats of physical violence, saying that if he wasn't paid, he was gonna whip his head, boy, as well as asking if Lala was even aware that her hubby owed Fiddy $1 million, suggesting that Randall was the one putting her up to the digital shit talking, and reminding him that the whole reason that they went to that dinner in the first place was so that they could discuss Randall's pick for a director for the project, somebody who we'll be talking about later. Now, 50 did eventually announce after this public airing out that Randall had indeed paid him $250,000, but he said the same thing to Randall as he said to many others. Money by Monday, and even offered him the Pop Smoke special, suggesting that he would kindly put Randall's Rolls Royce on a truck and accept that as a down payment. But that quarter M clearly wasn't enough, because 50 continued to berate Randall and his missus publicly, and demanding money by Monday in a hilarious post depicting 50 lurking behind Randall's shoulder. All this trolling clearly wasn't doing Randall's nerves any favours, as he continued to post pictures of him in the hospital after buckling under the stress of Fofty's loan sharking, which of course provoked even more mockery from Fofty himself. And from there, the memes kept on coming, with Fofty even editing Randall's Wikipedia page to reference the debt. And well, the thing about public shaming is it always works. And so 2 days later, 50 Cent announced that he had been paid in full, allowing Randall to walk away into the sunset, legs unbroken, with Fofty wishing him a blessed day. 50 and Young Buck have been beefing since way back in the day when 50 booted him from a G Unit. And ever since then, 50 has been on a rampage, mercilessly berating Buck publicly and even blocking him from releasing music. But it would be in February 2019 that the Buck and 50 beef would specifically attract the debt-collecting attention of Fofty. Seemingly out of nowhere, Buck would call out Fofty publicly, suggesting that he was responsible for taking all of Buck's music off of iTunes and sending a cease and desist letter to his distribution company. And it's at this point that Buck would publicly ponder the status of his G Unit deal.
It's come to my knowledge that a cease and desist was sent out from G Unit Records to a certain distribution label dealing with my music. After think me and the fans want to know, am I an artist still on G-Unit Records? Because if that's the case, don't you think I need to go ahead and complete what's ever on my contract? If it is a contract, if I am an artist on G-Unit Records, up until then, box of chocolates dropping Valentine's Day. Ladies, get it together. And y'all help me out with this because I'm trying to figure out, am I an artist on G-Unit Records? Who knows?
A couple months after this, Buck goes buck wild on IG, saying that he wants out of his G-Unit contract, asking Fofty to let him go.
Trying to sabotage me, pull my music down, send ceases to ceases, do weak ass shit behind my back and try to keep me tied to a contract. If you such a rip, why don't you let me go?
But in response, Fofty was back at it again, sharing the removal notice for Buck's video on his Instagram and saying, money by Monday.
And I'm gonna need the money by Monday.
Buck immediately clapped back, pointing out that Fofty had forgotten to take down his other video. Meanwhile, in response to Buck's financial issues becoming public, a GoFundMe appeared, seeking to raise $300,000 for Buck to escape from the clutches of Fofty's record deal. And while it's unclear whether or not Fofty himself had anything to do with setting up that GoFundMe, it was certainly clear that he wanted to push and profit from it, as he immediately came out dropping a t-shirt for sale with Buck's GoFundMe printed on it. And a month later, Fofty was digitally stomping Buck out for all to see, posting clips of Young Buck's 2018 Breakfast Club interview, suggesting that he had paid Buck's taxes 2 times, and saying he still owes money, which he wants by Monday.
I always done got a hold of the paper and put it up in something throughout my whole life.
I gave this nigga the money,
you know,
man.
I come off
nigga millions.
And thanks 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 millions. I came back to 50 like, yo, bro, did you give me the right amount? Word, like, did you make a mistake? And he laughed at it like, yo, that's yours. So,
everybody gotta pay fucking taxes, man. Man, fuck that, I want my money Monday.
Now, a few more non-bounty related shenanigans went off between 50 and Buck around this time, which I'm not going to get into. But ultimately, Buck continued to clap back at 50, saying that his days are numbered. And not long after that, Buck dropped his forgettable Boothy Freestyle, a 50-cent diss track recorded over Drake's Duppy B. The track referenced 50's association with 6ix9ine, called him out for using ghostwriters, and made fun of his poor relationship with his son. And Buck followed that up with the Story of Boothy diss track recorded over Jay-Z's Story of OJZ. 2 tracks which to this day are pretty unavailable because they've both been taken down by a copyright claim. Because the way that labels enforce copyright on YouTube these days, it pretty much means that it's impossible to drop freestyles and remixes over famous instrumentals. Which, to be honest, is just kind of a big fat L for the YouTube hip-hop culture, to be honest. Goddamn labels. Anyway, from here, Fofty clapped back at Buck on social media with more derogatory posts. But for the longest time, it looked like young Buck had never paid up. And apparently, eventually, Fofty got tired of Buck running his mouth about the situation and ended up suing him for defamation, preventing Buck from talking about Fofty by name in his final rant.
You can't unfollow me and block me. Talk to me. No, sucker, I'm on your head, sucker. You gonna give me my money, sucker. Your defamation of fucking character threats don't mean nothing to me, nigga. Fuck you, nigga.
Now, there is a lot more to the Young Buck 50 Cent beef, which I'm not going to get into here. And if you're looking for a great in-depth analysis of some of the stuff that's gone on between these two, I would definitely recommend checking out some of the videos on the Diverse Mentality channel on YouTube. But as of March 2020, it seemed like Buck was filing for bankruptcy in order to avoid paying this debt, before getting out of jail a few weeks later and claiming to have finessed his way out of paying this debt with the help of his lawyers.
So I even got to a point where I even tried to pay the nigga for something that I know I didn't owe. Well, I said, you know what, I give you half for the $300,000 and the other half in 30 days, my nigga. He come back and add 50 more thousand on to say he want me to sign over my whole catalog. To be honest, I didn't file no bankruptcy technically to get out the contract. I filed the bankruptcy like, look, if I owe you, nigga, show me where I owe you.
Jackie Long is an actor well known for his appearance in the movie ATL. He later appeared in a litany of rap videos and eventually landed lucrative roles on numerous shows like Real Husbands of Hollywood and Games People Play. And he's actually friends with 50. They'd even been play-hating on each other as early as 2017.
Get the fuck out of here with that shit, man. Jackie Floyd. You know you because of Floyd, Jackie, you bitch. That's what you want to think. That's what you want to think. Go ahead. Get that shit out of here.
50 actually claimed that he was owed $250,000 $50,000 after these two were apparently gambling together at the casino, and Jackie was holding some money for Fofty that was never handed back. I mean, I'm not really surprised Jackie Long is short cash. His IMDb page hardly shows off the most illustrious acting career. I mean, the closest this guy ever gets to being a baller is voicing one in GTA 5. Now, after Fofty's public allegations, Jackie alleged that he had paid up, to which 50 claimed that Jackie had paid just a little bit, suggesting that interest was still due, whilst hilariously pointing out that at one point, Diddy wanted to kill Jackie Long. An apparent reference to a 2010 incident where Diddy had threatened to two-pack Jackie Long after rumours emerged that he had piped down Diddy's ex, Kim Porter. I'm only joking, of course, Tupac's not dead. Anywho, from here, Jackie continued to post on social media, suggesting that he didn't owe 50 any money, to which 50 shared a clip of Jackie speaking on his IG, denying that he was broke, with 50 reacting via voiceover, asking why would you post something like this if you've already paid up.
I know everybody been on this Instagram and all the social media stuff y'all been saying 50 saying I'm broke, I owe him money.
I never said that, Jack.
First of all, let me get y'all to the real story of all that bullshit he talking about. Years ago, literally years ago, about 4 or 5 years ago, maybe 6.
It wasn't that long, Jack.
We in the Palms Casino gambling. Alright, 51 something. He leaves, he come back, he give me a bag, say, Jackie, hold this. I don't even think I even know if the motherfucker won.
Yo, you know I won, Jack.
Look at his 50 bag. So I'm like, I ain't gonna look at the nigga bag, it's his bag. He said, hold it. I hold the bag, we get back to the hotel. He tripping, talking about 3,000 is missing.
Where the money, Jack?
$3,000 is missing. And you doing all this shit, fine?
From there, Jackie kept it moving on IG and stuck to positive vibes, and 50 confirmed on Instagram that he had received some money. But they continued to spar back and forth, with 50 saying to Snoop Dogg in the comments that he'd lent Jackie $250, and Jackie had tried to slide with giving him back $247 as if he couldn't count. This is Fofty you're dealing with, not Floyd Mayweather, and so Jackie replied in a taunting manner, making a post in front of one of his own billboards saying that his new nickname is 3K. But that didn't satiate Fofty, who continued to clown Jackie by sticking his beak into social media posts from Ray J and Nick Cannon, with Ray J posting a pic in the club with Jackie Long, to which 50 replied, followed by his own post dissing Ray J for letting him take run off with the bag. Nick Cannon also posted about it, having originally commented on Jackie's post telling him not to let Fofty bully him, and then chiming in with another picture of him and Fofty wearing big jerseys, claiming to be glad not to owe him money, to which Fofty replied roasting Nick Cannon on Instagram and telling him to stay off of his posts. From here, things died down a little bit until July, when Jackie announced that he'd gotten a new show with Angel Brinks, to which Fofty decided that this meant he was entitled to some cash too, reposting a picture of that show announcement and asking for money by Monday. Jackie, of course, hit back saying, I already gave you that little money, and telling 50 to keep off his page, to which 50 retaliated with class, pulling up in person outside Angel Brinks' store, which unfortunately would be the last piece of law connected to this particular bounty, but since we confirmed that it had already been collected, it's a certified W's of 50 cents. Now this one was a quick and surgical collection from Fofty. Omari Hardwick, budding actor and hotshot over on 50 Cent's power since 2013, apparently borrowed 20k from Fofty, but apparently had the good sense to pay him back promptly to avoid the bounty hunter coming and knocking.
He loaned me one summer, like 20 G's. He said, I can't have my number one effed up. He loaned me 20,000. And Jay, as you know, a fellow Capricorn, right? So we sat there, pragmatic, logical. You know how we are. We don't fuck with money like
your
that,
wife.
right? So then, so Jay and I was like, nah, you can't. Like, you gotta pay. And I'm like, I'm paying him back.
Rotimi is a singer and yet another actor who appears on 50 Cent's Power. Apparently in 2015 he was actually in a contract with 50 Cent's G-Unit Records that was terminated prematurely. Apparently at the time 50 told Rotimi that he could get out of his deal, but there would be business to handle. And even when he popped into the Breakfast Club, Rotimi claimed not to owe Fofty any money back from the days when he was signed to it.
Did you ever borrow money?
No, I was an artist at 50, so it's the same thing.
I just want to make sure you don't owe anything.
I made sure you got your money back.
Does that scare you though when you see how he treats Young Buck? Young Buck's his artist too. Does that scare you? Like, God damn, if I get on this man's bad side.
Nah, I'm not worried about that at all.
But when Rotimi's chart-topping Walk With Me dropped, 50 came crawling out of the woodwork to say, hold on, Where's my bag at? More specifically, 50 accused Rotimi of owing $300K, reposting Rotimi's artwork with the devilish caption, "Walk with me, I'll walk with you to the bank." Rotimi posted a video reply, which 50 Cent immediately replied and reacted to, saying that now he is number one, he gotta pay.
See, yo, so I feel like I gotta address this, man. So niggas calling me talking about I owe 50 money.
You do owe me money.
Listen, bro, I don't owe 50 money. The thing is,
you independent now.
Number one. I just bought a crib.
That's right. You owe me 300,000.
Everything. So the fact that I'm hearing this, man.
Oh, you a Fort Lee nigga?
Why wait till walk with me
Jersey
one on the R&B chart? Why would you wait till my
That's when I want my fucking money, nigga. You number one. Now you could pay me my money.
You know, so crazy. So I just wanted to address it and keep it light, but that's crazy.
You with Gazi now. Do I need to call Gazi direct?
And 50 also said in his caption that he wanted to punch Rotimi in the nose. I'm not going to lie, I wish I had me some of that big Fofty energy. At this point, former Fofty punching bag Jackie Long chimed in, saying that Rotimi is probably going to get killed off this season because of how much hassle Jackie got even when he only owed $3K.
Hold on. I done see some shit right now. It's making me laugh. Oh, my nigga Rodney. Hold on, my nigga. Hold on, Rodney. 50 say you owe him $300K, my nigga. You owe this nigga 300,000 pennies, my nigga. Like, hold on, my nigga. I owe the nigga 3K. That mean you died on the show this season, my nigga. That season.
And hell, at this point, you knew it was bad because even Snoop Dogg stuck his nose in, saying that he would pay off Rotimi's debts just to make sure 50 doesn't kill him off on Power.
I'm gonna pay you what Rotimi owe you, cuz. Because I don't want him to get killed on Power. I think you're gonna kill him next. Because he owe you money. Don't kill him. I'm gonna pay him for you. How much he owes you, cuz?
Now, a day after all of these headlines hit, apparently Rotimi changed his tune and revealed that he had paid up $100,000 in an interview with TMZ.
50 believed in me in 2014, gave me a deal under his project, under his G-Man. So at this point, we didn't agree on the single Love Rhythm. I felt like it was the one. He felt like I should have gone with another record. So I asked him. He said, yes, I'm not going to hold you back, but there's business. So what there is some, and everything else will be through mechanical sales of royalty today and royalties because